to make sure everything works. Welcome. So, I think so. I think everything works. So wonderful. Really lovely to see you. Let me just quickly share my, oh, that's the wrong link, sorry. Share my Pinterest board to the chat, which is here. There we go. Because all the reference photos I'm going to use today will be on Pinterest, so you can find them there. Just quickly save this one. So welcome everyone. I really hope you are well. I hope you're having a lovely day. That you had a really good Christmas and New Year's and all these holidays. Hi Sandy, really lovely to see you. I'm sorry you almost missed me. Really lovely to see you here. So, first live session of this year. And yeah, I think everything is working. So my microphone is on. There we go. So there we go. How's everyone been? So I just dropped a bit of water there. So this was the last live session from last year where I sketched some animals. And I was just doodling a little bit earlier, and there we go. This is my sort of messy sketchbook, the sketchbook that I use for experimentation and play, and just every page can be a little bit different. There we go. I spent a bit of time in my other sketchbook earlier. So this is a picture that I made yesterday. This is my sort of nice sketchbook where I put a little bit more sort of effort in making everything look coherent and sort of cohesive. So I was painting in gouache. And this sketchbook that I'm using here, I also like to use it today because it's a little bit bigger. I have slightly more space when I sketch with you together. But it's my sketchbook where I can be a little bit more free and a bit more experiment, where I can experiment a little bit more. So I think it's a really clever, nice way to have multiple sketchbooks that you sort of have different purposes for. But I know a lot of people find it quite hard to fill one sketchbook, so then to have multiple, of course, slows everything down a little bit. So it can also be nice to just keep everything together. Hi Joey, really lovely to see you. It's always really nice to draw with people. So there we go, let's dive straight in there. I decided to sketch some of the faces from the Met 100 Head Challenge, which I will put in the chat as well. Well, that's not how you write challenge, but I'm sure you understand what is that I mean. So it's the Met 100 Head Drawing Challenge. It's been around for years. I completed the challenge in 2018, I think. Before I became a professional artist, I was just practicing and starting to get into art, and it was something that really sort of encouraged me to start with my drawing practice. And in this challenge, you draw 100 faces, and they have created this Pinterest board with lots of references, and this is one of them. This is number 14, and I just thought we'll just pick a few of these to sketch out together. Just making sure we're a little bit closer to the page and you can see what it is that I'm doing. I was planning to use color pencil today, so I'm not getting out my really big color pencil set. This is sort of the colors I use the most. So I thought it would be a nice way to start the year. Maybe some orange, some purple. Let me grab a few colors that I'm going to use. I'm not going for sort of realistic skin tone colors. I'm rather just sketching with lots of different colors. I do want a bit of green, so maybe a light green, a dark green. So green, orange and a bit of purple. So quite an interesting mix of colors. So you can see I just picked these fairly randomly. I want to have some yellow at hand as well, because I always like to add a bit of warm yellow to any drawing. There we go. So these are the colors that I'm using. You can see just a random mix of colors. And I'm just going to get started with my first sketch. So let's start with this orange. Now I do need a sharpener, which I should have here. There we go. I have a sharpener at hand, because whenever you draw in color pencil, make sure your pencils are sharp. You can join in today with a sketch pencil, color pencils, you can use ink, you can use a ballpoint pen, anything that you would like to start sketching. And if you're working on your own project, that's absolutely fabulous as well. Of course, you are very, very welcome to do that. I'm just quickly checking everything is working here. And it is. I think there's a slight delay on the video, but that is okay. If anyone has any questions at any point, please ask away. I'm always happy to help and always happy to answer questions. So there we go. This is not my first drawing today, so I feel like I have warmed up a little bit already. But if this is your first drawing of the day, then I know that you always need to warm up a little bit, especially before you do more detailed drawings and artwork. So give yourself a bit of time to warm up and to ease into the process. And if you are drawing along in color pencil, make sure you don't work too large, because it's quite a fine material, and the larger you work, the longer it will take to complete a drawing. So I'm just going to get started. So I'm looking at this portrait. This is from a statue, as you can see. And I'm just starting with the base shape. So if this is sort of the circular shape of the face, so that is the rough shape. You can see I'm starting really light. There's a bit of a cloth or something sort of here over the face. Bit of a triangle shape here for the fringe. So I'm just slowly starting to add in these base. You can see how light I'm starting. You can almost not see it on camera. This is how I like to draw when I draw in color pencil. It's almost invisible. So this is the sort of hood pointy part. You can leave that out, you can add that in if you want. It goes off the page a little bit for me. So that face shape is a little bit longer. So putting a bit of a line of where the eyes are going to go. It's been a little while since I've drawn a portrait. So all I'm doing is just figuring out what these sort of shapes are and what is it that I'm seeing. So I'm being kind to myself. If this first drawing doesn't come out so well, that's absolutely fine. The more faces you draw, the easier it gets. So be kind to yourself and just, it's okay if it's all a bit wonky. Drawing a person is quite challenging as well. So if you find it hard, just acknowledge that's okay, without judging it. So you can see I'm starting with quite a light color. So I'm starting with this. It's called cadmium orange. This is one of the Faber-Castell polychromos pencils. I have the large set as well, but this is just an extra pencil that I have. I spoke to another illustrator a few days ago, and she said she doesn't like these. That she doesn't like the polychromos pencils, and I really don't know why. I think they're wonderful pencils. But there you go. Like, people's sort of choices and what their preferences are so personal. Everyone has their own way of doing things and their own preferences, right? There's not one universal way of doing it. So I'm adding in the eyebrows, a bit lighter, so, and the eyes. Again, I am not necessarily going for photorealism, but a little bit of likeliness, of course, would be good. See how slowly the face is starting to come together. Yeah, so drawing people and drawing faces was really my first way of getting into art again. And nowadays I draw quite a lot of faces and a lot of people. And I'm hosting a course which is Get Comfortable Drawing Faces for people to get started, and there's lots of little fun exercises in there to get used, to practice drawing a face. And because it is challenging. I think there's some sort of mental block that we have when we see a face and we want to draw it, that suddenly we think, oh, that must be really hard. Whilst in reality, it is not more difficult than drawing an animal or a teapot or anything. So I don't want to go into too much details quite yet, because I know my proportions aren't quite right yet. I'm just figuring out the angle. I think it's time to add some shadow. So I have a bit of my sketch on the paper. I'm not quite happy with it yet. And I think I am going to use purple for the shadows. Derwent have polychrons. I like Derwent as well. I have some, these are Derwent Pro Color, I think, aren't they? Yeah. Derwent Pro Colors. I know Derwent does a lot of, like, a different range of colors as well. I can't really think of the Prisma. Is Prismacolor Derwent? I think it might be. They do different ranges with different color pencil sets as well. I just happen to have these, and I really like them. I think they're they've always worked well for me. But then I'm also not super fussy. I sort of like drawing with any art products, I think. So I'm just seeing if I have a different sharpener that works a bit better for me today. There's a lot of stuff on my desk here. So there we go. I have a lot of these little sharpeners for various courses that I've run, and when I used to do lots of in-person art classes, I like to give people their own sharpeners. So I have a whole box of these that I usually can tap into if I want to. So there we go. So again, my sketch is not perfect yet, and again, perfection doesn't really exist. It's an illusion to think that you can create things that are perfect. I'm going over that sketch and I'm starting to add in some shadows. So this is a technique that I use a lot when I draw in color pencils. Set up a bit of a sketch and then go in with some darker colors. So I think the neck sort of area is actually a bit bigger. So see, I'm just changing the shape. There we go. There's quite a big shadow here under the lips. And in this case, I'm keeping my pencil very flat on the paper. I'm just figuring out the right shape. I draw in a different way every time when I host these sessions. Sometimes I used to use pencils and sometimes paint. I try to sort of stick more with dry mediums because it's a bit easier to jump in and to join in with dry mediums usually. What are the other Derwent pencils then? I can't really think of them. It doesn't matter. They're sort of the ones that I use the most, these two. So I'm sort of going over what I already created and starting to add in the darker shadow shapes and areas. So without doing any detailed drawings, I'm just going in, looking at those shapes, really almost like negative space, looking at where the darker areas are. I also try not to put too much pressure on my pencil yet, because I want to keep it light, because I want to be able to make some changes later on. So, see, it's almost like modeling clay. We're slowly working through this and bringing things sort of back together. So, there we go. I'm hosting a gouache painting session on Sunday, if anyone fancies that, which is on Zoom. You can sign up on Eventbrite as well, or on my website, which you prefer. But if anyone wants to do some painting on Sunday, it's specifically a gouache painting session, but you can join in with watercolors as well, if you prefer that. So, you're right, Nicole. I can always trust that you have the answers to these things. Light fast and color soft. Yeah, the light fast ones. I have tried those as well. But you can't really. I know you can never sort of have enough hard materials, right? But I think it's sometimes good to just choose something and stick with it for a while. I really like the polychroma, so I don't really have a reason to change it. So there we go. So I'm slowly layering it up, taking my time. Yeah, I'm going to do the 360 challenge, if anyone's heard of that. So you can, in theory, you can do a 360 challenge with anything you do. You can do like a sport every day or drink water every day, but I'm doing an art making sort of 360 challenge. And the thing that I just need to do a little bit better is actually share it online, because I already make lots of art sort of almost every day. I just want to be a little bit more sort of purposeful about it, if that makes sense, because I think there's very rarely a day that I don't make any art. Maybe if I have like a specific event on there I have to go to on very rare occasions. Yeah, I want to be a bit more purposeful about it, and also even if I have a day when I don't make any art, just to do like a really quick doodle. So I have I think I mentioned it last time, I have this little prompt sketchbook that I'm going to use, and I've created daily drawing prompts myself as well, which are part of my community. And I just really want to make it a bit more structured, so to say. So I'm just going to add in some green. So just a little bit more all over. I don't think the face shape is quite right. I need to change that a little bit. That's okay. See how this slowly takes shape. I sort of started a little bit too large. This might take a little while if I actually want to make it into a very detailed drawing. So I was planning to do multiple sketches, but let's see how that comes out, how that goes. Back to purple. I like these sort of rainbow, colorful portraits. I'm just slowly starting to add in a little bit more lines. So this area here is very dark, so maybe I can make that a bit darker. I could go in much darker than this still, but I don't want to do that quite yet. So this is for the shadow here for the chin. See, under the chin it's a bit darker, so I'm sort of slowly trying to give shape and a bit more shape to this angle. It's actually quite a tricky angle. I thought I picked because I picked a statue, I did that on purpose. Statues are always a bit easier to draw when you start out drawing faces compared to from photos. Because statues already have that really clear, sort of defined shape. So the artist who made the statue already has sort of made that into a shape that you can sort of copy a bit easier. They've taken out all the distractions. See how it's slowly starting to get shape? Slowly and steadily. I'm also ignoring this originally sketch line. I've just changed it. So you can change anything at any point. Speeding this up a little bit. I'm not too fussed about all these surroundings, because I do want to make the face and the eyes a bit more detailed before I move on to a second drawing, if I am going to do them. So let me know what you think. If you want me to finish this one in a bit more detail, or would you like to do a second sketch? So there we go. So I need to focus for a moment for these sort of extra lines over the eyes. I really love drawing in color pencil. When I first started to do art, I didn't really think of color pencils as a valid medium. I always sort of discarded them a bit, thought of them more as if they were for children, but actually I really love them as a medium. Okay, that's really great to know, Joey. I'm going to just finish this eye and then pick the second picture. So, see, adding in a bit of shadows there. So I could finish that nose in a bit more detail, but I think this is okay for a sketch. Let me zoom out for a second and then see, there we go. It's quite soft. I could add 100 more layers, change the shape of the nose a little bit and everything. But I think for an initial sketch that is fine. So let's have a look at these pictures that are part of this challenge. So some of them I have drawn before. I think I'll pick another statue because I quite like that. So I could pick this one. There's a statue, there was one that I saw a moment ago. Which I think could be quite fun. Let's do this one. So I'm just moving it a little bit. So you can see this is number 64 of that challenge. Adding it to my Pinterest board in case you want to look it up later. And I am going to approach it in the same way. So just do it next to it. I am going to maybe start in purple this time. Sharpen my pencil a bit. So, there we go. I really love drawing in color pencil immediately without a sketch pencil. So let's get started. I'm just focusing on the main shapes first. So if I'm going to take sort of most of this side of the paper here, this could be the back of the head. Here, see, I'm going in a little bit darker than I did for my original first sketch. So this could be the hair, sort of here, ear. So just really simplifying it. The neck sort of, where the ear sort of going in this direction. The neck is sort of, that move, the neck is just behind the ear. So, so I'm planning to draw every day, but I find it quite hard to find focus sometimes, because I do a lot of different types of art. And I also this year want to do a bit more illustration work, so for commissions. I did a few commissions this year in sort of 2019, 2023, whatever year we're in. But I'm not, I didn't do as many as the year before. I was really focused on my art classes and other things. I'd like to do a few more commissions, but I also really want to build my community. And I didn't really plan this well, did I, here with this fold? So, see if I can bring this forward a little bit. Is that a good idea? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I'm just carrying on, even though the paper is a bit in the way. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so sometimes I find it hard to find focus. You know what, I'm going to start again. That fold in the middle is just not going to show you really clearly what I want to do. So carry on if you are carrying on. I'm just going to draw the same person here. So this is the top of the head. So sort of that fluffy bit there. This is the back of the head and the neck, ear. So the because I love so many different things. I draw landscapes, a lot of people. I have illustrations in lots of different styles, and I do maybe 2 or 3 children's books a year, and sometimes things for articles or newspapers or things like that. And I just need to find focus in what it is that I enjoy most. But part of what I enjoy most is drawing so many different things and doing different styles and exploring lots of different mediums. So that is part of the joy for me. So I know that focus is an important sort of factor, but sometimes it's I don't really know. So I'm trying to figure that out at the moment. I think January is so focused on goal setting and what do we want to achieve and where do we want to go, that is you sort of feel like you're being swept up in this. It's almost like an obligation to do it, isn't it? So I'm trying to not get swept up in that sort of feeling where I have to decide everything sort of straight away, but at the same time I do like to think about goals, and I don't know, I'm rambling a little bit. So I'm really trying to focus on those angles. Like if you look at a face like this, like is that nose sort of going out or in? Does that moustache sort of go in a bit further? Where does it start? See, I'm definitely a bit more confident than I was with the first one. I don't know if you noticed that. I always know that my second drawing is better than the first. That's okay, that's also part of drawing. I used to find it really hard to draw live and people watching me, but nowadays I don't really mind it anymore. I'm used to being watched, and I also know that sometimes I mess up a drawing and that's okay. So there we go, we have a bit of a sketch here. Yeah, I flit about lots of different medias and subjects. Yeah, I totally get that, Joey. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just that in our sort of society, and especially if you want to grow on social media, there's this expectation that you pick a specialty and you stick to it. But I think in terms of personal development and what you learn and how you grow and what brings you joy, I think there's so much benefit to doing lots of different things and exploring lots of different things and different styles and materials and do different hobbies. I also love like needlework and knitting and all these other things that you could have fun with. So there's definitely not one thing that I want to do sort of for the rest of my life. Absolutely not. But sometimes it can feel quite hard to stick with something for a while. So I also think in terms of a portfolio, so I don't know if anyone here is sort of aspiring illustrators or you might already be an illustrator. In terms of portfolio, it does really help to have a clear style in your portfolio because people look at that and then they know what to expect from you. So they know if they ask you to make something in a specific style, they know that you can do it and what to expect. And it makes it easier for people to trust you doing what you do. Oh, that's fantastic, Nicole. I'm so proud of you publishing a book. That's fantastic. Well done. That's a really good sort of New Year's resolution, isn't it? And also, why do we think we can only sort of launch something one time? Why can we not celebrate it over and over again? And then, like when you publish a book, for example, the first week is really easy because you tell everyone about it and you post something on Facebook or Instagram and you share it with people. But then after you've done it that first week, then suddenly it becomes much harder to share about it. And because we feel like we're bothering people with it, or you don't really know what to say, you don't want to repeat that message, but people want to hear about these things, and it's okay to repeat the message over and over again. And sometimes we have to remind ourselves that it's okay to do that. And all these struggles of finding self-motivation. I'm quite easily self-motivated to make art, but then the whole sort of extra bit around it is quite hard, isn't it? So there we go. I quite like this drawing. A slightly different style from the first one. I get that, Nico. I think the online presence part I think it's fantastic that we can use all these online things to reach people nowadays. Because most of you, like here, are based from America or in other places all over the world. And if I would, didn't have internet, I could only do some classes sort of maybe in my local library or something like that. So it's a fantastic opportunity to add in that reach that you otherwise wouldn't have, and where you can make connections with people. But it's also hard, isn't it? So I think I'm ready for the next the next portrait. I'm just adding in a bit of random orange here. So, because these pictures of these statues are sort of in these clay colors, we have no idea. Well, we can sort of imagine that this is a white man with, or maybe like a bit Greek or Mediterranean looking, but something like that, and with a sort of grey beard. That's what I'm imagining, but we don't know, do we? And all these colors that we're adding in, we're not being led by. The photo. Thank you, Nicole. Really lovely to see you. The recording is live, like you can watch it back later if you want to finish your drawing. Thanks for saying hi. So, what time it is? I think I've got time for another one, so let's do that. Should we stick with another statue? Because I do like that. I do like this woman. It's a little bit similar to the one we've already done. Should we do this silly one? That's great. It's always lovely to see you. You can find it all on here, or on when I say here, I mean like on Eventbrite or on Facebook or on my own website. So what was I doing? Making sure we can see this one. Right. There's a lot of different sort of things happening at the same time, where I have all these different photos and different things up. So again, Pinterest board. This is how I go through a sketchbook quite fast as well. This is the trick, filling pages quick. So, making sure you can see my page. So move my cup of tea around. There we go. So whoever made this piece of pottery, it's quite funny because lots of people all over the world are doing these drawing prompts. And whoever made this piece of pottery must have seen so many drawings come by of it, which is a lot of fun, I think. It's another way of interacting with different artists, isn't it? Drawing each other's art. Let's start with green. Again, just focusing on the main shape first. It's almost like a caricature, isn't it? So it has that longer shape, and then the ears a bit lower. Some big ears. I do find it really fun to draw something like this that is a little bit more sort of character-like, or suddenly gives you a bit more freedom to play around with that likeliness over drawing something that is super realistic. So I'm just thinking of the eyes. So that nose needs to be a bit lower. So I'm just moving that around. It's okay if it takes a bit of time to figure out these shapes. think this person's smoking a pipe, but you can't just, it's just hidden under the sort of Pinterest logo thing. So I might make this a bit more of an exaggeration as well. See, slowly and steadily. The shape is coming together. It's already getting dark outside. Although the longest day of the year has been, so it should slowly get lighter. So I'm still feeling tired from all the Christmas and New Year's and all the events and going to places. It just I was sort of thinking of going to my art studio today, but I just couldn't really bring myself to do it. So, and next week I am in the Netherlands. I am planning to do the live session next week, if I can. I'm going to try and find a spot to host it for half an hour or so. So that's going to be more of an on-the-go sketchbook session. What to draw if you're traveling. I think it's quite fun. So that's going to be next week. So I'm trying not to cancel any of these if I can help it. So have you ever tried Derwent? I don't know if I can read the whole message there. Derwent drawing pencils. These ones that I'm using here are Derwent Pro Color. I have some ink tense ones as well, but I think those are the only other Derwent materials that I have at the moment. I'm going to the Creative World in Frankfurt at the end of this month, which is a big sort of conference for creative businesses to like all the different sort of suppliers of art materials are going to be there. So I'm going to that next month because I'm doing quite a lot of giveaways in my creative community at the moment. So members, if they share their artwork, they have a chance of winning like art materials and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to get some more suppliers on board to help me out with that. And so it's all, but it's not for, it's really for businesses. So it's a business to business sort of fair conference. So I'm really looking forward to that. So hopefully I'll try some more Derwent materials there as well. I love trying out new art materials, and so I think it's a fun little drawing. So let's finish these teeth. Yes, that's the end of January. So next week I'm going to be in the Netherlands, and then a normal week of work, and then at the end of the month I'm going to Frankfurt. So, and then I was planning to start your first sketchbook course in February, but that's February. That seems so far away. Just time goes so fast, doesn't it? So what do you reckon? If we make the pupils a bit darker. I quite like the sort of wonkiness of this face. add in a little bit more color. So I'm thinking of where the highlights would be if this was sort of, you know, if there was sunshine coming from above. So I'm adding some lighter colors there. Of course, the light would be different if the sun sort of came from the side. Or there's a lot of different ways of doing lighting. There we go. I still want to finish the first drawing, which was going to be a bit more of a realistic sort of sketch, but I actually prefer these, I think. These last two. So make sure that your darks are really dark and that your lights are light. Having enough contrast in the drawing makes a huge amount of difference. So I think I might call it a day on this last one. I did really like that. I thought it was good. Fun little character. Just her that's not quite finished yet. I think I just went in almost as if I was drawing like a full portrait, which is fine, but it just takes a little bit too long for a quick session. So there's a few of these in my portraiture sort of courses. So there we go. Don't know if I'm making it better. I'm not even looking at the reference photo now. So I'm going to zoom out. Let's have a look at what we've done. And then there we go. So some quick sketches. This sketchbook's filling up quite nicely, considering that I only, when did I start it? I think if I peek, 14th of November was the first, was my first drawing, which was this one. Yeah, so I've not had it for that long, but it's filling up really nicely. But you can see some pages are quite fast, like this one. But yeah, there we go. Some quick sketches today. I think drawing faces is a really great challenge. So if you don't know what to draw, check out this this Met 100 Heads challenge. It's definitely worth it. And it's the first time I did this challenge, or the only time I've really done it. I'm sort of thinking of completing it again. But the time when I did them all in ballpoint pen. So you really don't need to have lots of fancy materials to make a drawing. So that was the first time that I did any portraiture drawings. thank you so much for joining in. Really lovely to see everyone. And I really hope to see you all again soon. As I said, I'm traveling next week. But I am planning to still do some sketching. Thank you, Joey. I'm really glad that you enjoyed it. That's really lovely. So I'll see you all soon. Take care and let me know if you have any questions. Bye bye.